Welcome back to another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt as we live stream this one again. We'll definitely have one guest. Johnny Flowers will join us tonight, and Nick may or may not join us. It'll be we're going to cram a lot in a short period of time. It's not going to be a long live stream by any means. We just definitely wanted to touch base since we had our live broadcast during the first round of the draft, which hopefully you all enjoyed. And Matt and I will we'll talk a little bit about the Eagles draft overall, and we'll go through the picks. And then we'll bring Johnny on here in about 10, 15 minutes or so. All right, so off the top, Matt, I'm just going to run down the picks, and then we'll talk about it, all right? So First round, as we know, we're broadcasting live. Eagles drafted the wide receiver out of USC, Makai Lemon. Second round, the talented Eli Stowers. I got some things I heard about him today I wanted to mention you may or may not know. The tight end out of Vanderbilt. Third round, they went offensive line, which we expected them to do in this draft, with a behemoth in Markel Bell out of Miami. Round 5, Cole Payton, who's another interesting pick out of North Dakota State, a quarterback. Round 6, Micah Norris. The Eagles love to pluck from Georgia, offensive guard. Round 7, 3 picks in that round. Cole Wazinski, the safety out of Texas Tech. Uar Bernard, who might be the most interesting pick out of all of them, the defensive tackle / D end on Nigeria, who's never played football in his life. And then round 7, also Keyshawn James out of the edge out of New Mexico State. Keyshawn James Newby is his name to round out the draft. So a lot of picks and a lot of interesting players that are coming into the fold here. So, Matt, I'll turn it over to you. Thoughts on any player you want to touch upon or the draft overall? I'll give you the floor.
What was the safety's name again in the 7th round?
Safety's name was Cole Wisniewski.
Yep.
Out of Texas Tech.
No relation to any Wisniewskis that may have played in the NFL, right? Yeah, so overall, it was funny because, the Eagles have certain needs, but they're not a team that reaches for need positions anymore like they used to be, which is one of Howie's greatest strengths right now in the draft. So, everybody knows, I think, at this point, if you were pretending like AJ was not going to be traded, that he's really not even on the roster as we speak. Like, he's going to be gone. June is right around the corner. We got to get through the month of May. Everyone is intending that this trade will go down. But the funny, interesting thing is this whole drama that brewed up over Mike Vrabel and his affair that he's apparently having with these pictures that were produced. If that may affect the trade. Like, if AJ is supposed to go because Vrabel's the coach, if Vrabel has to step out or something, maybe they don't pull the trigger on that. So that just may impact things in June. And if it doesn't, if it does, like, okay, good for the Eagles. Like, you're telling me that possibly our 3 wide receivers, if AJ stays, is AJ, Devontae Smith, and Makai Lemon. That's an amazing wide receiver set. So if you lose AJ out of there, you got Smitty, Makai Lemon, and then any number of these guys that may emerge out of the 5 guys that they signed in the offseason, including guys with some skill that have played the position before, and then the young up-and-comers like Cooper and stuff that haven't really blossomed yet. So that's fine, right? There's still potential that Howie might bring in Ertz as like a late signing, but we'll see. As far as the position players go, everyone knows Goddard is like, okay, he's like year to year.
Yeah.
So draft a young tight end. They do have good luck is the story with them drafting a tight end with the 2nd pick. And then they addressed the offensive line, which I thought was like their biggest, most important thing. Like, you've got to get some young horses in the stable here to start working with them. I guess it sounds like Jeff Stoutland is still hanging out in like a consultant type of role or something, because his name has been bouncing around. I read an article today.
I don't know about a consultant, but he hasn't gone anywhere.
He hasn't gone anywhere. He's still connected to the building somehow. And the article I read today was that perhaps the major friction that existed last year was between Patullo and Stoutland. And the rest of the staff is fine with Stoutland, but maybe they wanted to make sure that Mannion could get his guys in and get going in that direction before they decide what they want to do with Stoutland. So I don't know, like the offensive left tackle. I mean, that dude is huge. Like he's got a wingspan that's giant, and if you got a good wingspan, then that'll help with those edge rushers that are trying to bend around you. You know, the ones that are going to bull rush you or get into your body and swim underneath your arm, you might have some difficulty with. But I love the fact that Howie's looking at these unique guys, right? And that's the one thing with Bell and, well, I guess it's just Bell. Without Stoutland, I don't know, does he develop? Like, if you still had Stoutland as a coach, as a paid coach, you would be like, this guy's going to be great in 3 years. You know, let him work with Stoutland and let him develop. They needed, I think the Cole Wisniewski is almost like essentially a like copycat player of losing, Reed. So, he's taller. He looks like but he's drafted later. So I think Reed was what, a 4th round pick?
Yeah. I think 4th round. Yes.
4th. So
which Reed you talking about now? Sorry.
The safety, Cole Wisniewski, or Reed, Blankenship.
Yeah. Reed was actually an undrafted free agent.
Okay. So undrafted free agent who developed, right? So I think they see a lot of like Cole Wisniewski's essentially Reed Blankenship. Only drafted instead of undrafted. And, so I like the picks. I like where they went. I don't think they reached for anybody. The fact that Mekhi Lemon is ranked number 2 in every source that I've read at wide receiver is pretty amazing that we get the number 2 wide receiver available in the draft at pick number 20. So that's pretty cool. When you look at it, I'm like, wasn't even thinking about it because I'm like, I'm not sure receiver would have been a huge need position. But if that's the guy they liked and that's where the value and the talent is, I'm like, go get him. So all of them look impressive, but they all do, Overall, I don't like giving a grade, but I do like the players, right? So I don't like draft grades because you're like, you don't know. Like 3 years from now, let's do a draft grade. And then you'll have some actual information that's useful, right? Right now, it's completely all speculation. But
let's not forget also that a part of this draft is bringing in Grenard from the Vikings.
Grenard. So, and that part I love, right? So I thought maybe if Howie really liked an offensive tackle or a defensive lineman that he may have tried to trade up to about 15. I thought 15 was about the extent that they could move if they wanted to. What's funny is I had on my, what we talked about last week with the first draft show, I always have the question of like, well, does Howie stay? Does he trade up? Does he trade down? And we didn't discuss it much, but I had him pegged for trading up was the most likely thing.
Oh, good for you. I know I mentioned it. We talked about it, and I remember saying that I had no idea. I didn't have an inkling. I thought he can go either which way. I thought he could stay, go up or down. I didn't have any inkling. Sounds like you had one that he was more likely to move up, and good for you because you called it.
Now, here's what's funny. In the thought process of that, I thought he would trade up for a D-line or an O-line. Instead, he trades up for a wide receiver, hops over Pittsburgh and grabs the wide receiver, which means they must have really liked Mekhi Lemon versus the other receivers. Otherwise, they could have probably sat still.
He is right. And we talked about the draft being like really kind of top heavy where, I've heard between like a dozen and 15 players max as far as what's really true first round talent. Mm-hmm. And Mekhi Lemon was one of those players.
Yes.
And so he fell down to, 20 area.
Very thrilled to get that. I like the Micah Morris guard selection from Georgia. He looks like a road grader type.
Yeah.
So they love the Georgia players. This time to pick one on offense. So I'm pleased with it is where I'm at. I have no reason to be disappointed with any of the picks that they made. I'm fascinated by Bernard, the defensive tackle, because the dude looks like he walked right out of a video game. Like, and if you gave him all 100s for stats and Madden, like with muscle, body fat, I'm like, okay, let's see. And who knows?
Really low numbers on experience and awareness and stuff like that, but all the attributes, physical attributes, hundreds, tens,
Yeah,
So,
and they have
see what
him
happens
listed
there.
as a defensive tackle, but who says that he's not also slated to go learn how to play a tackle position on the offense? Like he's totally raw, which I think is what they love the most about him. They'll run him through all the skill sets and be like, you know what do you like? Because you're looking really good at tackle, offensive tackle, or you're looking really good for a D end or a stand up rusher. Like there's a lot to like about that pick, and just tell me that that's not going to be fun in the preseason watching that guy on the
I
field.
can't wait to watch
just
that guy.
To see what he can do, right? So,
well, I'll just give you a couple because I want to bring Johnny in here really quick. He's in the green room and I want to bring him on.
Okay.
But I'll touch on a couple different things. I agree with you overall. I think I'm happy with every pick. I mean, there's nothing that I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I had no reaction like that. I thought everything kind of makes sense. Some of them are reach use 7th round picks on. One we just talked about who looks like Bernard, I think is an interesting and fascinating player to see if they can mold that guy into something. I wanted to say this about Eli Stowers, the tight end. I heard that he broke the record, the draft, the combine record for the what do you call it? The vertical leap or the vertical jump, from a standing position. He jumped 45 inches from a stand-up position. 45 inches. I mean, it broke the record. No other players ever jumped as high in a vertical than our tight end.
Yeah, for those of you non-carpenters out there, that's 3 inches shorter than 4 feet. Right?
Yeah.
That's
45-inch vertical. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, the guy's, that just tells you he's a super athlete. So, I mean, basketball players can't do that. So that was very interesting. And then the Cole Payton pick, the quarterback out of North Dakota State, they are saying that he might be utilized in our offense as sort of like, who's the guy in the Saints that is kind of like the jack of all trades guy who does a lot of rushing. Tyson Smith or whatever, is that his name?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're kind of like, they shows highlights of that guy and he's like leaping over guys and stuff. So that's an intriguing, interesting kind of like weapon too to kind of plug into this offense. So like I said, I think the overall the draft has got some really interesting pieces and we'll see how they all come together. But I like you. I really grade the trade, especially when you incorporate the Bernard trade, giving up 2 third-round picks and bringing in Bernard from the or Grenard rather, Greenyard, right? Grenard
Greenard
from the Vikings, who's a solid, if not above average defensive end that's going to help, help with our pass rush. I know Johnny, as we're going to bring him on, was not too happy that the Eagles made that trade. He's texted me about it. So let's bring on Johnny now. I think is a good segue to bring our good friend Johnny to the show. Johnny, I know during our live stream draft, because you were having some technical difficulties. Actually, we were having technical difficulties all night, but we didn't have you on.
No, it just didn't. It didn't work out. It didn't work out.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start and then we'll get into your draft because it's very interesting to hear what your take is on. But since I was just bringing up Grenard from the Vikings, I know that you sent a text saying you were not happy that the Eagles were able to grab him. So what are your give us
seriously unhappy to hear that yesterday.
Yeah. So go ahead, Johnny. Welcome to the program as always.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to be here. Grenard for the Vikings. He's had 12 sacks 2 seasons in a row. And not, I mean, I think he's 29, 30. I mean, he probably is hitting in and still has a few peak years left. And his former position coach, Durante Jones, is now the new Skins Washington defensive coordinator. And there was a lot of, there was a lot of smoke to the fire that Washington was trying to go out and get him. And it just didn't happen in free agency. Washington did make a lot of defensive moves. I mean, pretty substantial defensive moves, but none of them included him, which thought sucked, and then to find out that. So you guys, it was a 3 this year and then a 3 next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty reasonable comp for a Pro Bowl level.
And then we paid him $100 million for 4 years.
Oh, you've already re-signed him too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Oh.
Yeah, 4-year extension, $50 million guaranteed.
Wow.
Or 100
so
million total.
He's now a cornerstone, yet good or bad, whatever. You're stuck with him or you're great having him. I'm sure it'll be somewhere probably in between, but
yeah.
This trade was what they wanted when they got Bryce Huff from the Jets a couple years back, and they whiffed on that one. So,
right.
And they recognize, I think, that these other young guys, Nolan Smith, kind of haven't quite developed as quickly as they were hoping. So I think Howie's patching a hole there and solidifying that defensive end position with Grenner. Yeah, so that makes when I about the Eagles draft and having them in there, that makes those first 3 picks really, really good. I like them all. But what about Sonny? So I'm listening to the local radio here, Johnny, about Sonny Styles and the draft and the wide receiver that they drafted, because now they're like, well, what does that mean for McCaffrey? Like, what's happening here in Commanders land with these picks?
I love the Styles pick. I did want defense. I did not want Love. I did not want Tate. So them being gone made it easier for Washington to go with the best defensive player on the board. And that it fell exactly how I wanted it. I mean, that I really have to, the only thing I would have said that could have been better, which was a 1 in 5,000 pipe dream, was David Bailey falling to 7. There was no way on God's earth that he was falling that far. He is the best player in this draft. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not even sure it's close. But 3 years from now, we might be laughing at him, and Sonny Styles is our Fred Warner. I mean, that's what he's drafted to be. I mean,
you needed speed on defense for sure.
Yes,
Sonny brings that at that linebacker position.
Speed. I mean, Wagner has the football IQ, but he's lost the speed, and it was exposed. I mean, well, it was exposed because the defensive line lost 4 starters by the 7th game of the year. So I mean, it was guys driving Home Depot trucks playing there for the last couple of weeks when we were getting smoked most of those weeks. But they did. I love the Styles pick. The receiver that we got in the 3rd round, Williams from Clemson.
I liked him. I texted Matt during the draft, and I'm like, I like that guy that the Skins just grabbed.
Yeah, I've got some. I'm pretty optimistic, but this is the 3rd year in a row that they've drafted a receiver in the 3rd round. And McCaffrey 2 years ago, Jalen Lane, who was outstanding as a punt returner, but really didn't do much of anything as a slot receiver. And then this year, picking Williams again in the 3rd round, almost feels like you got to swing bigger and go get someone in the 1st. But then again, we got Jahan Dotson, your problem now. I say problem. I mean, he's
not anymore. Now he's in Atlanta.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's okay. I missed that then.
Free agent, yeah. So he signed away with Atlanta for free agency. But
what kind of deal did he get, money wise? Do you know?
2 years, $15 million.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
What?
He did. Yep.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you what, his stay in Philly.
That's about $1 million a catch.
Yeah, I mean, his stay in Philly. Yeah, it was surprising how much he got, but like Matt and I wanted him back, on a low end deal, but
with an expanded role
once he got that much of an offer.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a good, like the Eagles didn't use him enough. He caught everything. He never dropped the ball ever.
No,
They
I mean,
just never threw him that much.
I don't know why. I never quite understood why we got rid of him either, except for the fact that there was his family. He's from Penn State, and like his grandmother was dying, or his mom was dying, or something sad was going on, and they almost kind of did him a solid and just said, "Okay, we'll get you to Philly, and that'll get you closer to home." And then it may have. I really do think there was something like that went on when that trade went down.
Yeah, I really actually hope that Atlanta uses him, because the guy, to me, and again,
I think he's got talent. He's never. I don't think talent's ever been a question.
The guy never dropped anything.
Yeah, so, I don't think. Yeah, I mean the third play of this damn Super Bowl, he almost went to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. In the domination of KC, I mean, the third play of that game, he went deep. I mean, he should have scored.
I thought he did score. I mean,
I know. I mean, he barely. I mean, he got to the 2-foot line,
2-inch line. Yeah.
No, I mean, I never disliked the guy, but I mean, I hated the fact.
I don't know. The Eagles just never really used him enough.
No, I mean.
Anyway, he's now with the Falcons, and so.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, is there? I know that you like the guy you got in the first round, and you like the wide receiver there, Williams. Do you have like anybody like the Eagles? Yeah, like Matt and I really like a couple of really late guys in this draft that the Eagles got. Do you have any?
I do actually.
It's kind of under the radar that you like that the Washington drafted.
6th round running back, Katron Allen.
Okay.
I have a feeling that he is 4-year player at Penn State, started all 4 years, is the all-time leading rusher in Penn State history, which flew completely under the radar.
Yeah.
Now they
and
Kajana Carter, yes. Kurt Warner back in the yes, he is the leading rush. Now, granted,
Barkley did leave his junior year.
They play more games now, and with the playoffs and the extra, they get all these extra games. I mean,
that's true. But still, that's Penn State we're talking about.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Katron Allen. Keep that name on. Don't draft him in our fantasy league, because I'm going to. That's my. You heard it here first. Sleeper this year that guy is going to have an impact this year for Washington.
Well, I wrote his name down on my little notes here.
Not sleeper anymore.
Income fantasy football.
Yeah, I'm sure your people know that we're all active in the same fantasy league and have been.
Yeah, which Johnny, congratulations, won last year. So there you go, the reigning champion.
It was
so
unexpected, and
we're all coming after you now, Joe.
Very well. Yes. Hey, I welcome the challenge.
Absolutely.
So, and McCroskey Merritt, right? Bill.
Yes.
Bill Merritt. So
he played well last year.
They view him pretty much as like a change of pace guy still, though, right? That's why Allen is like first.
Yeah. Set. I mean, I do. I think that. Well, Krosky Merritt, his biggest problem last year was that he fumbled like 4 times. I mean, and a couple of them, they weren't even really hard hits. I mean, he just coughed up the ball. Like, you just can't do that. I mean, with regularity, unforced errors like that will get you in the doghouse quick. I know they know he still has talent, and I don't think that they drafted this kid in the 6th round to come in and be the bell cow from day one. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would have drafted Jeremiah Love, then yeah, I would say they would give him the rock 25 times a game. And had he been there at 7, yeah, Washington might have taken him, and I probably wouldn't have hated it, but he wasn't, and they got a running back in the 6th round after they filled some other holes and needs, and took a flyer on an edge rusher that was they picked in the 5th round. I think his last name is Joseph. The only thing I really know about him is that a year ago he was projected to be a lot higher, and there was some off the field stuff, and I don't know if suspension or whatever, some other stuff going on, and he slid, but we drafted him in the 5th round, and I can't say I know enough about him to know either way, but somebody liked him enough to use a 5th round pick on him. We drafted a center in the 6th round because there's still some question as to who our starting center is going to be.
Yeah, it's a good reason to draft one.
Yeah, I mean, they let their starting center last year walk, and he signed free agent elsewhere.
By the way, Johnny, you going old school John Riggins on us there?
That is a 44 diesel John Riggins. Yes, I had to pull this one out of them balls.
Well done.
It has been a while since I've had this one on.
Crank up the diesel.
The diesel. Former Skin Monty Coleman died like yesterday or the day before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the middle linebacker on two of the Super Bowl teams.
Oh man, rest in peace. I do remember him for sure.
68 years old, man. That seems
68,
like
yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, the guys beat their bodies up, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, Riggins has got to be in his.
I think Riggins is. Right? I would say. He was probably, he was drafted in.
I'm gonna look it up
by the Jets in '74, I think.
He's got to be pushing 70.
Oh no, he's over 70.
Yeah, he was near the end of his career when he broke that runoff against Miami in the Super Bowl. Right, that was like he didn't.
That was the tail end, but he was. I mean, the year after that, he had an amazing season, and then they blew the Super Bowl to the damn Raiders.
Mm.
I mean, that team was better. That would honestly, out of all the teams that the Skins won 3 Super Bowls, but the team that lost against the Raiders was the best damn team out of all of them, I think. I mean, that hurt that they lost. They screwed around and blew that Super Bowl.
Well, that's something that the Eagles and Washington have in
common. Losing Super Bowls in the 80s to the Raiders, to Jim Plunkett. That team wasn't that good.
No, the Eagles were favored.
Yes, and Washington was very much favored.
Yeah, Riggins is 76 years old, and he's about to be 77.
Right. Yeah, I knew that. I mean, he came out of college in like 72 or 3. I mean, he played for the Jets for a while before he came to Washington.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he was.
No, I just it's just one. Just makes me feel old,
No, I know, man. I hear you. I get it. I mean, I remember the Super Bowl run you were just talking about, Matt. Like I was watching it. I was watching it in my on like a 12-inch black and white TV in my bedroom. My dad wasn't a real football guy. He never watched games. Like the big color TV in the living room was whatever he was watching. Probably golf or something, whatever it was, but Super Bowl, whatever year the 80, it was the 82 season, I guess.
Early 80s, right?
Yeah. 82.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first Super Bowl I recall watching. And I remember it because of that John Riggins run late against Miami.
4th and 1.
Yeah. I believe that's probably
4th and 1. Yeah.
It was 4th and 1. Yeah, I mean, if they get stopped there, they might lose the game. They're down by 3 at that point. It's legitimate. It's legitimately, and and I've listened to a lot of Washington podcasts. It's not even close. It is the single greatest play in Washington franchise history.
Yeah.
And it's not anybody that's watched the team long enough to know would say 4th and 1 Riggins, period. It's not even I don't even know what's second.
Yeah, because the stakes were so high. It's in the Super Bowl, 4th down.
Yeah. And it Gibbs is and it's the franchise's first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
First Super Bowl win. They've been in it before in 72 and lost to the Dolphins in the perfect season.
Yep.
In another game they should have won too. There's two more that of the 3 they got, they should have two more.
So interesting, just story today. So local 106.7 The Fan, they had on
The Sport Junkies.
A couple of their analysts that they have call in whenever there's something football to talk about. So
sure,
the one guest that they had on today, he was talking about Adam Peters as the GM for the Commanders, talking about the Commanders draft, and most of them like it. They were going back and forth on whether you prefer Sonny Styles, but the local fans are always self-doubting anyways, right? Until you guys get a championship.
There's a lot of PTSD there.
Yes, yeah, and the guest on it, like, guys, it's Sonny Styles. Like, if he pans out to be what he's supposed to be, this is a great pick. You should not be worrying about this pick or whether or not they made the right choice here. And they're like, but if you look at the Niners without Adam Peters' influence over there, he was like, they're ranked at the bottom of this guy's draft haul, and he was just going down, and he's like, you can see the difference in what the Commanders are doing because they are drafting positions of value, and yes, they do fit a need. Like Sonny definitely fits a need, but then they're getting valuable guys throughout the whole draft versus his assessment of the Niners was they've reached and they kept reaching players just to fill position needs instead of going for value. And I'm like,
going for best available player. Yeah.
And what a difference that makes with teams that win, right? So for years, Chip Kelly years, and when Howie was like locked away, go learn how to draft in the future. And like, so both of our franchises have been through those moments where you're like, God, this is terrible. Like this draft of like the early 2010s, like once McNabb was traded, and then we go through this like draft process of like, what are we doing? We mentioned some of them last week, like Danny Watkins, when we didn't, what are we doing? We're reaching for guys to fill these position needs. And it wasn't until Howie just about 5 years ago or so installed this new way of just, nope, we're going for value. If they can't make it on the field, they're going to be valuable somewhere. We can work them for picks or trades and all this other stuff. So it's got to be good for a Commanders fan to know.
The only thing about the Styles pick, because he plays inside linebacker, I was having a little PTSD flashback to Jamin Davis. And Jeff, for sure, I was high on him. I was like, he's got a great pick. I immediately said this pick is garbage, and I didn't even, and it wasn't. I didn't say garbage. I'll keep it PG rated. Yeah, it was. Oh, I said this.
I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I saw a tape on this guy. He's great.
Yes, I told you at that point. I don't pat myself on the back very often, but I knew immediately that pick was going to be just a reach, garbage. They were just enamored with he can jump 40 inches vertical. Yeah. So what?
I was enamored.
Diagnose a football play and figure out where to go, either cover or make the tackle. Like he's not even in the league anymore. Like
no.
You
were 100% on
literally you're not playing football anymore.
Yeah. He was a tackling machine, man. I'm like, this guy's good. What are you talking about, Johnny? Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah, that
is way right out of the league.
That time, that one I knew was a bad pick.
You did, yeah.
I still hate that
and we're usually right on the same page every draft. Our analysis, Johnny and I typically like the same players. We're like, who's the best player in the draft? Like we're pretty much in sync. And that one we kind of went.
We both knew. I mean, going back a few years, we both knew Witherspoon was going to be a stud.
Witherspoon,
Sauce
Gardner, Witherspoon,
Jamar. Those were a couple of our favorite ones. I mean, we were texting all through the draft when you guys got Carter fall into your lap after the Seahawks didn't pick him. Still a little bitter about that one.
Yeah.
But you and I were texting through that entire first round of that draft. I think who did Washington get in that year? God, I'm sure it's gonna make me cry when I figure out who it was.
Was that when you drafted the quarterback?
Not Haskins. Is that the Haskins year?
No, not Haskins. The one that was an Eagle last year. Wasn't that draft? No, the Eagle who was the backup for the Eagles last year. That's now I think with Seattle or something.
Who you talking about? Howell?
Yeah, Howell.
Howell was a Howell was a 5th round pick.
All right.
He wasn't a 1st round pick.
I don't know.
Are you talking about the Jalen Carter draft? Wasn't that Jaden Daniels?
Was it?
Carter and Daniels, aren't they on the same?
No, I don't think so.
Nolan Smith. Didn't he come out of the same Carter? So the year after that?
I'm looking it up.
No, I think it's the Davis year. I think it's the year the Eagles drafted Davis. I think that's when Daniels came out, right? Or no? Am I wrong about that?
Daniels is younger than
Daniels.
The Jalen Carter draft was Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., Richardson, Witherspoon, a couple of guys I don't even know anymore, Bijan, and then you got Jalen Carter at 9.
Wow, at 9. Okay.
So who was your pick that year then?
What's that?
Who was the Washington pick that year?
Washington. Oh, this is a great one. Emmanuel Forbes.
Okay, that's it.
Picked one spot ahead of Christian Gonzalez, perennial All-Pro for the. Yes,
I know you hated it.
Oh yes,
you wanted Gonzalez. I remember. You wanted Witherspoon.
You would have seen my phone through the drywall.
Yeah, I remember you hated the Forbes pick. That one was, and Forbes ended up starting with the Rams last year.
Yes, but starting and getting torched.
Yeah,
he's still getting torched.
That Jackson Smith and Jigba just salivates every time they play the Rams because he knows Forbes is going to be on him and he's going to toast him.
Hence the reason why the Rams plucked McDuffie from Kansas City now.
Yeah,
that was goodbye Forbes. He's going to be
that's a stud move right there, and that's a strong.
Yeah,
that's a strong play.
Yep.
I mean, they're going for another chance at a Super Bowl. I mean, it might be one more year. I mean, really, between them and Seattle, those were the two best teams the whole season.
They were.
Yep. That playoff game, whoever won that was winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I mean, truly,
that division is really solid.
They played twice. They played twice, and they played the second last week of the regular season, and then that playoff game, and those were both, I mean, just classics.
Yeah,
I'll give credit where credit's due. Seattle and LA are the NFC powerhouses until someone from the East Coast, one of us from the East Coast goes and
it'll be
punches them in the mouth. I mean, they're where Philly was a year or two ago. I mean, they are the clear favorites, and for good reason.
Yeah,
I mean they're good teams.
And the funny thing is the Rams that you think like, oh, that might be an old team because they got Stafford, but I'm like, the team is well balanced with enough youth to balance age.
They're
very
smart. McVay is probably the damn best coach in the NFL. I mean, truly, if I could handpick one coach right now to coach my franchise for the next 10 years, it would be him. I mean, I wouldn't question that. I wouldn't question that for a minute. I like Dan Quinn a lot. I totally I'm very happy for him to be our coach. But if I could trade him for Sean McVay right now, yes, please, for sure. And he was on Washington's staff under Kyle Shanahan way back in the day. As was LaFleur and Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah. Holy smokes. All-star team of coaches.
They were all under Mike and then Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. I saw they were doing, I was watching the top I caught like 50 to 40, I guess. They were doing on ESPN the top 100 characters in the NFL all time. So in that segment was John Gruden, and they're just showing John Gruden like rip players, rip coaches, all this stuff. But there was a clip they had when Gruden was coaching Tampa Bay with like a just out of college Sean McVay. And he's got like curly hair, and I'm like, who is that guy? I'm like, I know his face. I'm like, oh, that's Sean McVay, because they had his current interview about what it was like to work with Gruden. I'm like, I had no idea that he had Gruden's influence too before he even got Mike Shanahan's influence. Yep. And I'm like, man, that dude's got, his offensive mind is probably the best in football right now.
Oh,
he's a really good coach.
It pretty much is.
Be interesting to see what the Chiefs do. So the Chiefs draft a player to replace McDuffie that they traded. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, how is this not the team that Andy Reid always had with the Eagles with McNabb? He's just letting it starve with no wide receiver superstar talent. And it's like, are you going to be able to win with Holmes if you don't have a Tyreek Hill? I'm not so sure. You got to get some number one wide receiver stud in there, and then you'll see Holmes probably spring back to life. I'm watching him start this out, and I'm like, this is why Andy got stale in Philly. Never, ever got that number one to go with McNabb. Got Jackson for 1 year as a rookie, and then they trade McNabb away. What are you doing? No,
that's true. Yeah,
I don't think they got –
Andy does seem to undervalue the importance of stud receivers.
Yeah. I think it's
not just in KC, back in the Philly days too.
Yeah.
Definitely in Philly days. And you thought, to Matt's point, early on, he did surround Mahomes with a bunch of wide receiver talent. You had young Kelsey there, you had Tyreek Hill there, he had a lot of weapons on offense for the first few years of.
They drafted poorly though too. Xavier Worthy,
he hasn't been that good, and Rasheed Rice is a good receiver, but he can't stay out of trouble.
Yeah, right.
Rice is pretty good. Every time Rice plays, he's an impact guy. But
he's still got
off the field. He's got issues, and Kelsey's not getting any younger.
Oh no, he's past the time.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
I don't know. I think the AFC is going to be pretty wide open. Like you said, I think the NFC is really top heavy with Seattle and the Rams, and we'll see what the Eagles and the Bears and the Lions and anyone else. Maybe the NFC's got NFC East division. I think our division's improved all the way through. I think the Giants had another great draft, as much as I hate to say it. Dallas had Downs fall to them right in their laps, which
we hated. We're gonna hate that one too. All of us are gonna hate that.
You guys will have a healthy Daniels back again, so that's obviously key for you.
Yeah, that's
well, not just Daniels, but just healthy at 7 positions on that team. Commanders could come out of nowhere and be right back to where they were 2 years ago, just because they got players on the field that were supposed to be on the field. So
and of course,
last year was a horror show of injuries.
Your season was basically over by like week 5 last year. You're like done, which is a shitty position to be in.
No, well, we were 3-2.
Yeah, but after that, we were pretty much.
We went from 3-2 to 3-9. I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I said after week 5, you guys were toast.
We did. Yes, that's true. We tanked right after that. Yeah. With Daniels playing hardly any of those games and a patchwork defense that of guys that were playing in the UFL last year.
Yeah.
Whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Giants, again, I hate giving them props, but Matt and they have an opportunity to have a really nasty defense, especially in the up front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got young talent across the line there now, even getting rid of Dexter Lawrence. We still have got a pretty good defense.
Burns.
I don't know about the back half, they might still. Abdul Carter and the guy they just drafted in the first round here.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I remember all those preseason hype from last year. And they're like, look how many seconds it's taken them to get to their practice quarterback. I'm like, that means your line sucks. And I'm like, and when they played the real games, their line
sucked.
So now they drafted an O lineman too, though.
Yeah, because they had 2 first-round picks, 2 top 10 picks.
They got the pick they got for Dexter. They drafted
Miami,
the best tackle.
Right.
Myoga, Mylaga, something like that.
Those Polynesian Samoans, man, those are big, strong dudes who can move, and he's one of them.
They can protect and push forward.
I'll be back in 1 second, guys. Carry on. I'll be right.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm looking at the NFC East, and I'm like, if there's any surprise in the playoffs to push the Seahawks or the Rams aside, I mean, the Eagles generally have good luck against the Rams and really awful luck against the Seahawks, but I don't see why Washington can't be right back in it. The fact that you got players coming back that are supposed to be on the field.
Yeah, we play Seattle this year too.
Yeah.
Actually, do you too?
I'm not sure if we do. I don't recall the schedule yet. But
I kind of don't know it either. I should, but I don't.
Might be one of those teams where the East is going through the West for the outside of the division games. I'm not sure.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to pull it up before Geoff gets back.
Because it would make sense if we were playing the Rams, the Seahawks.
Yeah, we are playing the Rams. Yeah, I think the East plays the NFC West this year, which includes. But I'm going to see
all the good teams. Niners.
Somebody typing something?
Yeah, we're looking up the schedule because we're curious to see. We're pretty sure the NFC East is playing the NFC West throughout the season schedule outside the division.
No, really, nice.
Because we're talking about will be tested we're thinking yes, if there is a team that's going to challenge those 2 teams, it should come out of the NFC East. I don't think anyone else is going to present a really
maybe the
Bears, maybe Detroit, but did Detroit fade away, right? How far away from 2 seasons ago?
Right, yeah. I know. Yeah.
I mean, we extinguished that fire in that playoff ass kicking in their home stadium, and when they were the 1 seed coming off the bye, and we didn't just beat them, we smoked them that night. That was the best. Right. That was the best Washington moment of the past 30 years. Was kicking Detroit's ass that night in the playoffs.
Yeah, you did.
And sending their fans home.
You're right. They haven't.
It wasn't even close.
No,
we beat them by 2 touchdowns, and we should have been by 3.
You're right. They haven't recovered from this. They have not recovered. The organization has been set back because of that game, I think.
Yeah.
No, yeah, really. That kick in the nuts just
shook things up.
Yeah, it's still they're still feeling it.
Yeah, they're falling off. Niners are falling off. So an NFC East team, I think, can come in and be sneaky good. But it's so funny. The Eagles have such good luck against the Rams, and they have such awful luck against the Seahawks.
Seattle.
So, I know who I want to play if we're on that playoff tree, and I would hope somebody else takes out Seattle. I do not want to travel through Seattle. I don't even want Seattle.
No, you really don't. We do our division, the NFC East, plays the NFC West, which is Rams, Seahawks, Niners, and Arizona, and also plays the AFC South, which is Houston, Indy, Jacksonville, and the Titans. That's not too bad. That's actually
no, for the AFC side. That's not too bad. That's not.
Yeah, if you're going to get one of the AFC divisions, that's the one to get this year. I mean, we should both benefit some from that. Now, you guys are going to have a first place schedule. We get a third place schedule. So I think there's only a couple of games that we don't share, and that's you have 3 games against the teams that won the divisions, and we get 3 games against the teams that were third in the division.
Lower, yeah.
And that, I think, for us is we get Atlanta, Cincinnati, and I'm looking at the schedule trying to figure it out.
I know the Eagles going to play
Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, we get Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Minnesota. Those are the 3 games that'll be different from what you guys play. The rest of them, we all play each other. We all play Dallas, the Giants, of course, and then we all play Seattle, LA, Niners, and Arizona, and then the AFC South teams. And then those three games are really the only 3 difference. So if we play Minnesota, you're playing the Bears probably because they win that division.
Yeah.
So you're playing the Bears, and
we are playing the Bears. Yep.
Yeah, and then let's see what would the other one be.
I think we're playing the Texans too.
No, Texans are in the AFC South. So
everybody's playing the Texans.
We play them. The other one, Cincinnati. So does that mean you'll be playing? Who won that division? Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh
ended up winning the division. Yeah.
So you dodged the Ravens, which is a win, and we get Cincinnati. That's not too bad. And then Atlanta. So do you get Carolina?
I guess Carolina. Yeah.
Because if they won the NFC South, I mean I think they won it.
I think they did because they played.
They backed into the playoffs because Tampa lost the day after they already finished.
Yeah, Tampa really struggled down the stretch.
Did
and Tampa is your guys' kryptonite.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want Tampa or
beat Tampa for some reason. They have you guys.
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs, but
yeah. Don't need that reminder.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and call this an evening.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up entirely, actually, Matt. Unless you got any closing thoughts here, we can.
No,
I'm going to bring for future programming. So, Johnny, just hang with us because we're going to close out with you on here.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Programming, we're going to bring on the other, second half of the folks that we had during our live stream during the draft. That'll be Snoogies, Matt, and maybe even Corey potentially, right, Matt? Potentially might be able to join us maybe in a
Snoogie, Greg, and Corey. Yeah.
Is that what I said? Snoogie?
Snoogie is Matt. So
Snoogie is Matt.
Greg and Corey are the 3. Yeah.
The other guy then. Greg.
Greg.
Sorry. Yeah. That was close. That was pretty close. Anyway, so we're going to try to bring them on to talk about, the Cleveland draft. And he's a 49er fan, right? Corey is?
Corey, yes. Yep. 49er. Yep. All right, Browns and the Niners. Yep.
Browns, Niners. We'll talk to those guys there, and hopefully have Nick on as well to talk about the Texans. So anyway, thanks for joining us again tonight, there, Johnny. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We'll of course have you on again before the season starts.
Of course.
And that's it. So thanks for joining the live stream. Make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, as always, fly Eagles fly. And Matt, close us out.
Go Birds.
HTTR.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Take care.